Wow, man, it's a lot of things that went on in the Boston era that cost the Celtics glory. We go over it all the time. I remember telling Aaron's a diehard Boston fan, man, diehard Celtics. I remember telling him a long time ago the Boston Celtics was gonna be that team. Now, here's what people didn't know: the Spurs was gonna do a trade, and they were gonna let Aldridge go to the Boston, and they were gonna trade for the rights to get Jayson Tatum. A lot of people didn't know that. They wanted Jayson Tatum to be a San Antonio Spur, and they could bring him up in the Spurs system and let him play and flourish and under the system. Jayson Tatum has moves, but he was more of a system player, meaning that a lot of people will say, "Oh, he just light skinned. That's why." No, he just was. He was a make the right play guy, but he had the ability, and some nights he just would go off and just was unconscious. But if you watched his game, he was coachable, and that's something that Popovich loved. And during that first season, it was so much turmoil going on with Jayson Tatum because he was young. He comes into the NBA. He's having this outstanding ride. And when you come to the NBA and you start producing right away, you got all these different people telling you you're the man and all of this. Man, Jayson Tatum, you the man. And he's shining. They win like, I don't know how many games in a row. You know, they just balling out. And LeBron, this is like his last year in Cleveland. So the Celtics, who got the better record in Cleveland, they the better team, everything. You know, their goal is NBA Finals. Kyrie goes down in the midseason, and the team rallied. The game became more open court. Guys stepped up, and teams didn't know how to play them. Now, the illusion was that once Kyrie went down, the team went on a run. So they don't need Kyrie. That was the narrative. The reality of the situation is always different than the narrative. The reality of it was, sorry, the reality of the situation was this: they were on a winning streak before Kyrie got hurt. They were winning. So it wasn't like Kyrie was the reason they went down. They had a good team. Jason Hayward was out, who they lost the first game of the season. He was gone. Kyrie was the anchor. And he was distributing the ball, getting these guys ready, working with people like Jaylen Brown, getting him to step his game up and be confident and telling him things to do, to commit to his jump shot, making him more of a consistent scorer. Now, with that being said, with that being said, there were tons of things transpiring that a lot of people did not understand. And people might say, well, I don't even know what that means. Jayson Tatum had baby mama problems. His high school sweetheart, who looks like Ella May, he went and got her pregnant. Meanwhile, he was dating his girlfriend at Duke, his college girlfriend. You know, white girl, volleyball player, blonde. So when he come home back to the Lou, he had that life. Then he got the life. Then he got his life he got now. You know, he's got the life he got now. So he was in two worlds. He had come to Duke, date his Duke girlfriend. Then he was dating the baby mother he had, who was having his baby. So at one point, he breaks up with his Duke girlfriend to go back to his baby mom's and do right and be the father and be in his child's life. You know, and this led to a whole big melee that kind of came out during the season. And it led to a whole change in Jayson. After the playoff run was, said and done, and he was balling out of control, now he's doing something different. In the whole summertime, the scorned soccer girl was leaking information from text messages Jayson Tatum actually sent her talking about Kyrie Irving and other players on the team that he didn't like. Tatum and Morris didn't get along. It was evident. Al was the referee. Kyrie was the philosopher. Jaylen Brown is the one that changed the most out of everyone on the team. Jaylen Brown attitude turned more, we don't need Kyrie Irving. I don't need a teacher. You're not my father. You're not my coach. This is the guy he took under his wing during that whole run. Second year around, they saw roles reversed. Brown is kind of back to the bench. Jayson Tatum is, taking 12 shots a game. But this had nothing to really do with Kyrie Irving. Jason Hayward was back. So they're trying to incorporate him in there because they're paying him $31 million. So he needs to be on the court. That one position change, even though he's not fully back, other guys are playing better than him, it's altering the team. And they're having resentment towards it because what they had was working, and they're like mediocre in success. They're like 2 games above 500. They're not the team they were the year before, and they're reading the headlines, and they're not happy. So eventually, Hayward was going to come off the bench until he was ready, because his play did not match up to what they expected here at the NBA level. Now, Tatum's girlfriend had sent out these text messages. I don't know how it got back to people in the Boston Celtics, but it did. But they blocked a lot of this stuff off social media. She sent out text messages here, there, and Kyrie had it, and Kyrie didn't care about what he said. He was just like, if you feel that way, say it to me. Then we can get it addressed here. It don't have to be a problem, ever, between me and you. That's real talk. So him and Tatum was cool. They was back tight. And they had a game that things went bad. They had an argument on the team plane coming back to Boston. And people made a big fuss about the fight between Tatum and Kyrie, when it was really Kyrie just trying to talk sense to Tatum, who was the hothead at the time, because he's mad about something Kyrie did in the game, and he blows it up. And he's the type that if the play don't go right or the way he felt it should have went, he don't take the onus. Jayson Tatum likes to pass blame to everybody else and not take responsibility for what happened. He won't say that was on me. He'll just roll his head and be like, man, why I couldn't get the ball right here? Why did you bounce it? You know, that messed up everything through my time and all. He can't really never take full responsibility for anything. And that's been his plague for, I don't know, the whole rest of last season. And he knew either he was gone or Kyrie was gone. But they were not coming back, that team. Morris, it was split into two teams. Mostly the veterans who understood, and the young bucks who basically people thought was too arrogant. And like Morris had to check Tatum one time and tell him, I remember having something to do with that playoff run too. But that season over. We didn't win. It's time to move on. We in this year. Y'all holding on to last year's playoffs. And I got that. I understood. Everybody want to blow my phone up. I understood that. So anyway, he ends up leaving his baby moms when he was being good daddy, back with his high school sweetheart, to rotating over to LMA. Then he was dating LMA, and that's where it went. I don't know where it is now. I didn't follow or don't care. But he basically lost his Gatorade deal behind this whole baby mama scorn woman at Duke. And no one talked about how she kept calling him little boy when she had her Instagram rant on Jayson Tatum. And this little boy, I'm like, You're a little boy. Yeah, I'm like, okay. All right. Y'all just gonna let her rant like that. Cool. Nobody's saying nothing. Now she goes to Duke. She's on the volleyball team. Her daddy got money. Her parents got money. So you gonna have to figure that out. They got money. But Jaylen Brown was the most disrespectful on the team. That's why I think they went on knuckleheads that time to try to smooth it over for the public image of there was a major problem in Boston. Like, let's go on the show, knuckleheads, and talk with the players, and you know, it's funny because that show is the reason why certain people are where they are today. I kid you not. The Knucklehead show it's like therapeutic for Q and Darius Miles. I'm happy for them. Do your show. Have success with it. It's doing all right in the podcast race. It's doing some numbers, but other than that, you know, it is what it is. But it's more therapeutic for them. So I'm happy for them. But that didn't change the narrative as the problems existed all throughout the rest of the season and they were just ready to be away from each other. Kyrie was tired of, preaching and they were tired of him blasting them on, you know, in press interviews. So you wanted to know about it. That was some of the things that was happening behind the scenes. Um, it was crazy. I might talk about that on Patreon, what was actually said in the text messages. But you get the gist of what went down now. It was more eternal what was happening with Tatum. That's why he's balling out this year. He's got all that nonsense behind him. He could just focus on ball. That's why the second season he played terrible. It had nothing to do with everybody else. It was him. He was playing terrible. And he was blaming everybody else for his game, except for his own action. So don't forget to support the page. Hit your boy Carcino up on the Cash App, Carcino, or you can click the link in the description box and hit up the Streamlab. Either way, I appreciate the support, man. I'm out.